I want to thank you for attending our Board of County Commission meeting. We're going to call the meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, November 26th. It's 9 o'clock. I've asked former Commissioner Bill Pickens if he will lead us in the invocation this morning, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Leota Wilkinson. All rise if you're able to do so.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this glorious day and all the blessings in it, Father God. We just thank you for the opportunity to gather here as citizens, county commissioners, staff. Father God, we just ask for a special blessing for the 3 new county commissioners that will take the dais today, and continue to guide the 2 commissioners that will lead us for the next 4 years, Father God. Father God, in this time of Thanksgiving, just let us thank you and praise you for all our blessings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, former Commissioner Bill Pickens. Thank you so much. And do want to thank Commissioner Wilkinson. Thanks everyone for being here today. Do want to thank Commissioner Wilkinson for the lovely decorations that you see today and the beautiful tree that's out front. It's nice to have a woman's touch, and we appreciate your effort on that. We are going to have to recess the meeting and go to an executive session that'll be held right next door. It's a few times in Florida statutes that this board's allowed to meet without the public there. It's a legal matter, and then we'll be right back. So if you will just hold on to your seats, and we'll be right back as we recess this meeting. Thank you. All right, we're going to reconvene the Board of County Commission meeting and move right into our election of chair and vice chair. Mr. Suggs, you have the floor. And while he's coming up, let me say, it's been an honor and a privilege to be the chairman for the last year. Every year has its own challenges, and every commissioner before me can say that. This one had a few with a couple hurricanes and navigating through that, but it's a pleasure and an honor to be the chairman, and it's a lot of work some days, and but it's well worth moving this county forward. So, Mr. Suggs, you have the floor, sir.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Board of Commissioners.
Good morning.
Mr. Harvey, Chairman Harvey, if you don't mind, would you join me for just a minute, sir? You know, in your closing comments, you talked about a few things that the county went through this year under your leadership. And so I want to start off by saying, I think it was 7 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, we had a hurricane situation. Mr. Harvey was caught at sea, I believe it was, on a boat, enjoying his
Never lived that down.
living the life, living the dream, and he hasn't forgotten that. And every year when we have an issue, Mr. Harvey brings us back up. So what does he do in this year as chairman? He has 2 hurricanes to make up for the one that he missed. But you know, in all seriousness, Chairman Harvey, you know, your leadership this year through some difficult situations. You joined us at the EOC. You're a part of the discussion. You saw the activities within the EOC during those storm events, so you know how everything works. Prep and the leadership skills that the staff that you've allowed us to put together here, how we take care of this county and this community, you know, and we're missed that this year. Your leadership has been exemplary this year, and I, as a county administrator, and on behalf of all of our staff and citizens, want to say thank you personally for everything that you've done this year. We've accomplished a lot. You'll hear an update on reports later, but some of the things that was accomplished this year under your leadership, we can go down a list, but I just want to talk about a couple of them real quick. Public Safety Communications Project. We've been talking about public safety for 7, 8 years, and it's finally coming to fruition. And that's huge. That touches every single citizen as well as our surrounding counties. So thank you for helping us get that across the finish line. Our ISO rating this year went from a 10 to a 5+, I think it was a 5X, which is countywide, which is tremendous. You know, the things that we've accomplished, you know, all of our dirt to pave projects. You know, it's been amazing putting together a new engineering department in Public Works. You know, having the Board of County Commissioners support that has made a huge change in this community, how projects get moved forward, again, under your leadership. I, as county administrator, say personally thank you so much for everything that you've done for this year, and look forward to serving with you for a couple more years.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners and staff, we want to present you with this plaque in appreciation of effective and dedicated leadership as chairman from 2023 to 2024. Thank you, Mr. Harvey.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right, what's your show?
Sure, I would love to.
You know, thank you, staff, and thank you, Mr. Suggs, and thank you, fellow commissioners. You know, like I said, every chairman has its year, and every year is different. But one thing we were able to do this year, and let me say this, it's easier to govern when you have money. It's a very simple process. We were able to move this, make our reserves better, keeping our millage rate the same, watching property values grow in this county for years when they didn't grow. A lot of good things are happening here in Putnam County. Unfortunately, and fortunately, both in and out, people have found us. People are going to be coming to Putnam County. They want to be part of the rural lifestyle and be away from the big city hustle and bustle, and that's our responsibility now to make that work. But I will be remiss if I didn't say that every chairman tries to push everybody else's agenda ahead of their own. And that's the job of the chairman. And still get your planes to land too if you can possibly fit them in. But you got a great staff. You got a great clerk here. You got great people around you to make this happen. And everybody in this building and the buildings that we have and the people that we hire are there to help you. And they're going to help you land those planes and get them done. It might not be the 747 when it lands. It might just be the little Cessna, but just get on base. That's the main thing. And you'd be surprised. I want to tell a quick story. Years ago, I was approached by some people who wanted a school crossing area out in Interlaken across from the junior senior high to the library. But the cost was tremendous, and we really did not have the money for that at that time. I thought it would be a slam dunk. I thought everybody wants a school crossing guard. Well, it didn't work that way. But we got a pedestrian crossing a few months later. And just recently when County Road 315 was resurfaced, now we have lights and we have buttons that they pushed across the road. Get on base. Get your project on base, and you'd be surprised where it goes. And let staff know your vision, because they're going to help you accomplish that. And again, I would not be able to do my job effectively last year if it wasn't for Mr. Suggs, J.R. Grimes, who has probably the best common sense approach to government and getting things done, Julianne, who knows the ins and outs of our finances and can get things done, and all of our staff. It's amazing. And I'd be remiss to not say something about Rich Commando, who I call at 6:30 in the morning to say, I have a question for you. And he's always gracious to take my call and to answer it and say, well, have you thought about this? Well, no, because I'm thinking about that. And so that's what we have a staff for, and that will make your life easy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, before we get into the electing of the chair and the vice chair, I think Mr. Harvey Chairman Harvey, I apologize, touched on a couple of things. And I'd be remiss if I didn't also say thank you to Ms. Julianne Young, as well as our Honorable Matt Reynolds, for another year of a clean audit. Mm-hmm. You know, we've got a ton of projects that are going, which means we have a ton of contracts and a lot of spending going on here in Putnam County. And I believe, Ms. Young, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was another audit where we didn't even have as much as a comment. And so thank you all for that from the county administrator, because that means more to me than you'll ever know. And I believe Mr. Newbold will echo the same sentiments about reaching Mr. Commando as we did Friday evening and with a question. So, Rich, it's always been a pleasure. So love sitting next to you. Thank you for being who you are and how you represent us. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get ready to elect our next chair and vice chair. I will read off the process, and then we'll open it up for nominations. So when electing a chair and a vice chair, the moderator, myself, will open the floor for nominations. Nominations do not require a second. If only one name is placed in nomination, the moderator will ask for a motion to close the nominations and to elect the nominee by acclamation. A second to the motion and a vote will follow. If more than one name is placed in nomination, the moderator will ask for a motion to close nominations, a second to the motion, and a vote will follow. The moderator will then ask for a show of hands in support of the nominees in order for which they were nominated. The moderator will acknowledge the newly elected chairman, and the same procedure will follow for the election of the vice chair. So good morning again, and I'll go ahead and open up the floor to the moderator for any nominations for the position of chair.
Mr. Moderator, I'd like to recommend Commissioner Leota Wilkinson as chair of the Board of County Commissioners.
We have a motion for Commissioner Leota Wilkinson to serve as chair. Is there any other nominations? Seeing none, I will close nominations. I will go ahead now and ask if there for a show of hands for anyone, or go ahead and elect the Chairman Wilkinson by acclamation and a show of support by the Board of County Commissioners.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Thank you. Congratulations, Madam Chair. I will go ahead now and open up the floor for nominations for Vice Chair. Do we have any nominations for Vice Chair?
Mr. Moderator, I make a motion to nominate Larry Harvey for Vice Chair.
We have a motion for Commissioner Larry Harvey for Vice Chair. Is there any other motions? Here none, we'll go ahead and close nominations. And with a show of hands and support for Commissioner Larry Harvey, we'll go ahead and approve that by acclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Good luck. Congratulations, Madam Chair, Vice Chair Harvey. And we can go ahead and, would you like to recess for a few
I'd like to
minutes, Madam Mayor?
recess, please. Thank you.
Or
We're going to
Chairman?
recess for 5 minutes.
Move into our meeting. Reconvene the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting. We have approval for minutes on the table.
Madam Chair, on motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a proper motion and a proper second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're now going to recess the BOC meeting and convene the Port Authority meeting. We'll need to vote on each one of these separately because they are not consent agenda items. So first we have item A, grant agreement and resolution number 2024-131. Mr. Sam Sullivan.
Good morning, Port Authority board members. Sam Sullivan, Port Manager. Before I get started, I would like to thank Commissioner Harvey for carving time out of his busy schedule yesterday to help the port staff with visitors from out of town who are very interested in being partners in long-term with our port. Thank you very much for your time and your fantastic driving.
Thank you. Sheriff, bring Mr. Sam around. Have him share.
Our first item before you today is a FSTED grant agreement between Putnam County and the FSTED, which stands for the Florida, too many acronyms, like Florida State Transportation and Economic Development Group. This is a security grant to install a motion-based camera system at the port to ensure safety during non-operation hours. The system itself was designed by our IT department. Jacob and James were involved with that. Our match is $900. FSTED will give us $2,700 for the cost of the system is $3,600. We are asking for the board's approval and the chair's signature on both the agreement and the joining resolution.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move approval of the item.
We have a proper motion
Second.
and a proper second. Any discussion? I just want to say thank you, Sam. This is a great grant. We'll always take $3,600 for $900. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Second, we have an administrative grant agreement, resolution number 2024-134 and 135.
Good morning, Sam Sullivan again. This is a grant agreement between the Florida Department of Transportation on behalf of the state legislature for $1.2 million for the construction of a new design and construction of a new bulkhead at Port Putnam, as well as if any money is remaining to work on some of the docking area if necessary. There is no match. This is a legislative appropriation. We are asking for approval of this grant as well as the adjoining resolution so that we can proceed with building a new bulkhead so we can start accepting commercial cargo at Port Putnam.
Madam Chair, I move the approval for resolution number 2024-135, FDOT agreement number 454764-1-94-01, Port Putnam docking infrastructure.
Second.
I have a proper motion and a proper second. All in favor? Oh, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Administrative lease of southern section of Port Annex.
Madam Chair, we are asking that this item be tabled to the next meeting on December 10th. Mr. Lloyd and port staff are still ironing out some of the lease details. We will have it ready for the next meeting and present it at that time.
All right, very good. We'll table that. Do we need a motion for that?
No, ma'am.
All right. All right, withdrawn from the agenda. All right, at this time, do we have any public comment on Port Authority items only? Public comment on Port Authority items. Any general discussion from the board? All right. With that, we'll close the
Yes, sir.
Port Authority meeting. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just, if you don't mind, just for clarification, Madam Chair, the items that came before you this morning was absolutely needed for the port. We've been pushing this project for several years. I'd be remiss again this morning if I didn't thank Mr. Sullivan for bringing these items forward. Mr. Sullivan was anointed as the port manager a year or two ago, but Mr. Sullivan's full-time job as well is grant administration. So he went out and got these appropriations for the county. But I'd also like to thank Representative Bobby Payne for the $1.2 million because that came through a legislative appropriation through DOT. So, we've gotten a lot of support at the port since this began about 5 years ago. And so for the commissioners, the new commissioners, we're one of, I believe, Sam, 17 or 18 ports, and we sit on the Florida Ports Council, which is a tremendous benefit to Putnam County. And so a lot of good things are happening out there. And I look for continuation of a lot of good things to move forward, hopefully be an economic development driver for Putnam County as well. So any questions from the commissioners afterwards, please feel free to give us a call. We'll sit down, take a ride, go out and look at it, and bring everybody up to speed on what we're doing out there. So
Thank you, Administrator Suggs, for reminding us all about Chair Payne, State Representative Payne's involvement in that. That's very, very good. I appreciate that. All right, anything else? All right, we're going to close the Port Authority meeting and move into our presentations. We have proclamation for National Hospice and Palliative Care Month. I'm asking Commissioner Harvey to please read that.
Good morning, Madam Chair, fellow board members. Proclamation number 2024-132, National Hospice and Palliative Care Month. And if we stumble through this, we've all been affected by this, so please bear with me. Whereas for more than 45 years, Haven Hospice has helped provide comfort and dignity to thousands of people in North Florida, allowing them to live in their last months, weeks, and days comfortably with people they love. And whereas Haven utilizes an interdisciplinary, team-oriented approach to treatment, including expert medical care, quality system control, and comprehensive pain management as a foundation of care. Whereas beyond providing physical treatment, Haven attends to the patient's emotional, spiritual, and family needs and provides family services like respite care and bereavement counseling. Whereas Haven provides community-based palliative care, which delivers expertise to improve quality of life and relief of pain and can be provided at any time during an illness. Whereas in an increasingly fragmented and broken healthcare system, hospice is one of the few sectors that demonstrate how healthcare can and should work at its best for its patient. Whereas every year 1.5 million Americans living with life-limiting illnesses and their families receive care from nation's hospice programs in communities throughout the United States, including Haven. Whereas Haven is an advocate and educator about advanced care planning that helps individuals make decisions about the care they want. Whereas the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services have pledged to put patients first in all of its programs, including hospice, ensuring a coordinated and patient-led approach to care, protecting patient choice and access to individual services based on patients' unique care, needs, and wishes. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners that November 2024 is National Hospice and Palliative Care Month and encourages citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of the care at the end of life, discuss their end-of-life wishes with their family, and observe this month with appropriate activities and programs, thus proclaimed this 26th day of November 2024. Madam Chair, I move approval of this proclamation.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a proper motion, a proper second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey, and thank you, Commissioners. My name is Crystal Burks, and I am a patient care representative with Haven. This has been several times I've been in front of you guys to receive this proclamation. He did a great job, actually, reading it. So some of the words in there are a little hard to interpret, but we want to celebrate this year is Haven's 45th year serving patients in Putnam County, so it's a big milestone for us, and we do appreciate getting to come before you guys today and receive this proclamation and allow us to continue to do the good work that we do. So
We appreciate the service you do in the community. It's hard to, it's a hard time during those times, but at the same time, we're blessed to have you guys here. I know most people in this community have been touched by your services. I know I have, and I really appreciate it.
yeah, I was actually
family
talking
has.
with someone in the audience earlier as well. So we don't even know when we walk into a room.
That's right.
You know how many lives we've
Yeah.
touched. So thank you, and if you will just help us celebrate our 45th, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Thank you.
Thank you again, and we'll see you again next year.
Right. We'd like to get a picture.
Yes, ma'am.
A little bit. Yeah, bye-bye.
It's working well, though. You smell it? Yeah. Almost got your throat.
Okay, Ms. Parker, if you'll make your way forward for our Employee of the Quarter.
Madam Chair, would you mind if I make a comment real quick while she's coming? Mr. Suggs, last week we lost a great employee of the county. Would you like to talk about that before we do this? Or you want to wait?
Yeah, if at all possible, we did lose a longtime great employee of the library system, Mr. Beaton. I got that call on Sunday. And if I have the floor, what I'd like to do, if we could, Madam Chair and Vice Chair, is if we could just maybe have a momentary moment of silence for the Beaton family because of all they've done for this community and what they've been involved in this community. So I'd ask permission if we could possibly rise and have a
And
moment
that
of
was
silence.
Robert Beaton, who worked at the Interlochen Library, passed away unexpectedly.
Yes, let's do that.
Thank you.
Please rise for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Commissioners. I'm Lori Parker, Human Resources, and our presentation is on Employee of the Quarter. Every year, throughout the year, employees and supervisors will send nominations in on their employee for Employee of the Month. After that, we will recognize a person for Employee of the Quarter, and Employee of the Year will be recognized next month. It's always the meeting in December.
Okay.
So you will get that. Right now, the Employee of the Quarter is Stephanie Brown. If she could come forward. Hi. With the Employee of the Month, the employee gets $100. The Employee of the Quarter gets $500.
All right.
And next month is $1,000 for Employee of the Year.
Okay.
So this is an exciting time. If also Sean, I believe, and JT wanted to say a few things about Stephanie before she comes up.
Thank you.
Stephanie, we call her Renee. So if you call Public Works and hit number 2, 9 times out of 10, you will be talking to Renee. Not all the time do you get compliments from the public. You'll learn that real quick, new up here. But when you do get one in Public Works, more than one time I've gotten a phone call about Miss Renee. And they always enjoy their phone call with her. She's very informative. She's very helpful and gets them in the right direction. And our office is very blessed to have her. So thank you, Renee, for everything that you do for us.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. It's my honor.
And there's a big crowd.
Congratulations, Renee. All right, Ms. Young will now go into our countywide project update.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
This is our quarterly project update, and just as a reminder, this is not intended to be every project or initiative underway by county departments. It's intended to be a snapshot of those projects or initiatives that have been of most importance to our administration, our commissioners, or our citizens. With that, we'll begin with the administrative Port Putnam projects. The Port Infrastructure Development Plan, funded by the federal grant for maritime administration, is nearing completion. The final product will be presented to the Port Authority at a public meeting. Port staff is working diligently on having an infrastructure project started to facilitate the resumption of a commercial cargo traffic at Port Putnam. The animal control facility, the main building and office and kennels are under construction and moving towards completion. John Theobald Sports Complex, one of the new shade structures at the pickleball and the basketball courts, has been ordered and scheduled to be installed this week. An additional shade structure has been ordered for the pickleball courts fence area next to the volleyball court. The project playground has completed some repairs this weekend. Remaining repairs to the rope bridge and the Transglide system is set to be within the next few weeks. At Naya Barden Community Park, a new shade structure is on order, and we are awaiting delivery and installation. Ballston Community Park, a new shade structure has been ordered, and we are awaiting delivery and installation. The West Putnam Sports Complex, a purchase order to dig a new well and renovate the infields has been issued. A user group who desires to be the primary user and develop a baseball program will present their proposal to the Recreation Advisory Board in December. The Planning and Development Department has the Evaluation and Appraisal Report project, an Evaluation and Appraisal Report Comprehensive Plan Amendment. Consultation services by Northeast Florida Regional Council are underway. State coordinated review and transmitted on October 24, 2024. Adoption hearing is expected to be in the first quarter of the calendar 2025. Planning and Development has a traffic count project underway. Collection of trip data from 80-plus road locations throughout the county has been awarded to Proctor & Cross. The fieldwork is complete. Consultants are processing the data for each collection site and will begin building out the analysis tables. Anticipation for this will be ready for the first week in December 2024. Planning and Development also has the impact fee study underway. RFQ 2326 was approved by the BOCC to engage Alfred Benesch and consulting services. Data collection is nearing completion. If all items can be delivered within the next couple of weeks, the consultant should be able to submit a draft report by the end of March. Adoption hearings would be expected in the second quarter of the calendar year 2025. Fort Gates Ferry Landing Project, FDOT bridge report was obtained for the landing on the west side. The county engineer is in the process of analyzing it, and there is no funding at this time that has been identified. St. John's Avenue resurfacing Palm Avenue to CSX crossing at the Palatka Fire Department. Phase 1 is in final FDOT acceptance and closeout process. Phase 2 began construction in June of 2024. A time extension was granted due to the hurricanes. The last day of the contract is now April 1st, 2025. The project construction is moving smoothly. Public Works Dirt to Pave Project 2022. The project was split into two phases due to water expansion project in the Paradise Point area of San Mateo. The design phase of two roads, which includes Fisherman, Creekside, Edgewater, Paradise, and Paradise Circle, is complete. Construction is 90% complete at this time. Dirt to Pave 2023, survey and design completed in-house. Construction was awarded to 3 contractors. Copper Roads is already in construction. We are scheduling pre-construction meetings with the remaining contractors, Halifax and North Florida Emulsions. Dirt to Pave 2024, the survey and design work is in progress in-house. We anticipate bid documents to be ready in January 2025. East Putnam Drainage and Flooded Mitigation Phase 4, the construction has been completed. St. John's Avenue Drainage Improvements, State Road 19 to County Road 309C. All segments are substantially complete. The final walkthrough is scheduled for December 12th. The project is on schedule for a December 24 deadline and closeout. County Road 315 resurfacing project, State Road 20 to State Road 100. The project is 85% complete. County Road 315 resurfacing project designed from State Road 20 south to the county line. Design is in process with completion anticipated in February of 2025. Port Buena Vista wastewater treatment plant conversion and sewer main extension. The project has been completed. Paradise Point sewer hardening and generator installation. We are currently working with DEP to change the scope of the work. East Palatka Septic to Sewer Project Phase 4. The design will be complete once DEP awards permitting. East Palatka Water Plant retrofit. The project is complete. San Mateo Water Extension Project. We are approximately 98% done with the project with a date of completion of 12/12/2024. North Putnam Drainage Project, tasked engineered firm for design recommendations for Palmetto Bluff Road and Milliken Road Drainage Basin Study. Expected to have those studies March of 2025. South Putnam Drainage Project, DV Civil, started construction November 20th, 2024. East Palatka Water Main Expansion. This is an ARPA-funded project. It's currently 10% complete with an estimated completion date of December 22nd, 2024. Putnam County Water Infrastructure Project. This is an Army Corps of Engineers funded project. We are waiting on the Army Corps of Engineers to finish the environmental studies. Expected start date for construction is February 2025. The Ash Street Drainage project is complete. Rio Vista, an Overlook Point Sewer project, is complete. The HMGP Port Putnam County Boulevard Lift Station Generator design was completed in-house and bids are due for the project December 11th, 2024. HMGP Paradise Point Retention Pond, the project is working to be canceled. Countywide resurfacing fiscal year 23, the construction was awarded to 3 contractors and the work is currently 85% complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator Young. As you can tell, we've got a lot going on at the county. All of these projects are available on the Putnam County BOCC website. They will be uploaded and updated soon. And if you have any questions, you're certainly able to get with Deputy Administrator Grimes or Young.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Julianne, just a couple things for the new commissioners that come in. The other, especially for Commissioner Palatka, because this is in his district, County Road 315 south from 20 to 310 and 310 to Marion County line will be done concurrently. And we JR did add the intersection of 310 into that mix for resurfacing. So hopefully we can get that all done by DOT.
Very good.
Okay, thank
Are
you.
there any other comments or questions before we go into presentation? All right. We are now going into our planning and development public hearing, rezoned ordinance number 2024-024. This is the first of 2 readings.
I'll be on your screen.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, Jennifer Casella, Planning and Development Services. This application is a text amendment to the Land Development Code. The applicant is Kimley Horn. The agent is Mark Sheldon. The request is the text amendment purpose is to amend Putnam County's Land Development Code by adding solar farms as a use by right in the agriculture and agriculture estate zoning districts, as well as the addition of a new section 45201 defining solar farms and its standards. Florida Statute 163.32053 specifically states a solar facility shall be a permitted use in all agricultural land use categories, in a local government comprehensive plan, and all agricultural zoning districts within an unincorporated area, and must comply with the setback and landscape buffer area criteria for other similar uses in the agricultural district. Maintaining consistency between Florida statutes, land development codes, and the comprehensive plan is the main goal and responsibility of staff. The proposed text amendment will bring our land development code into compliance with Florida Statute 163.3205. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the land development code as the request is consistent with Florida statutes and is consistent with other comprehensive plan goals, objectives, and policies. At the scheduled public hearing on November 13th, 2024, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval of the text amendment application.
Are there any questions for the presenter?
I do, Madam Chair. Basically, we're still preempted by Florida statute on solar farms, correct?
Yes, sir.
So there's not a whole lot this board or any board in Florida can do when it comes to solar farms on agricultural land.
No, sir.
Okay, and the 2 readings are because of the land development code change?
Yes, sir.
That gives the public more option to be able to speak. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Which
you,
was
Madam.
also decided at the Florida legislature. And this specifically, basically, we are now bringing in our county documents into conformance with what the Florida legislature has told us.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to set another date? Or is it just going to be at the next?
Madam Chair, I move that we set the date for the next board meeting, the first board meeting in December.
Okay.
at
Madam
9
Chair, if I
o'clock.
may, please, this is still a public hearing item, so I think we need to do public comment.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I was going to do that. It's on my notes. Are there any public comments regarding this rezoning application amendment? All right, we have none.
Okay, Madam Chair, I move approval to move this to the first meeting of December at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. We have a motion to move this to the first meeting in December at 9 o'clock. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. All right, we're going to go into our agenda items. Before we do that, are there any public comments on agenda item only? We have 3 items, A, B, and C.
Before we run away from that subject, the previous subject.
Yes, sir.
While we're looking at the land development code, I'd like to consider the idea of increasing the setbacks around agricultural projects.
Okay.
Currently stated at 10 feet. I'd like to have staff look into the idea of increasing that to 20, possibly 30 feet. This is the first of an ag property that'll be taken out of ag. We're going to have a lot of that over time. I'd like to mitigate that as strongly as we can to keep a good buffer between ag and non-ag entities in the future.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I don't know that we can do that for solar farms because I think they're going to be guided by the Florida legislature. But staff can look into that.
I think they have to adhere with our land use development codes as well. So we'll just look into it.
Zach, could you get back with us on that? Yes. All right, thank you. Any other comments? All right, thank you. Commissioner Newbold, any public comment on agenda items? We have 3 agenda items. Any public comment on agenda items? Commissioner, would you like to pull any consent agenda items? All right,
Madam Chair, since no one wants to pull an item, I make a motion we approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
Second.
We have a proper motion and a second. Any discussion on the items? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, like sign. Consent agendas passed. Code enforcement. Are there any applicants in the audience who would like to speak or has a case on the code enforcement issues? All right.
Madam Chair.
Morning.
Good morning,
Before we get
Thomas.
started, kind of keeping to what we've been doing, I'm going to, if you don't mind, there's a little problem with, there's almost redundancy on A, and what was the other one, Thomas, I talked to you about yesterday? It was A and C.
Yes, sir, A and
Correct?
C.
Okay. So if you don't mind, we'll put those to the end. Madam Chair, on item B, I would ask that we accept staff recommendation of $1,596 if paid within 90 days.
Code case 2009-01075.
Correct.
We have a proper motion.
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Alexander. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion pass.
Madam Chair, on item D, Codes Case 2012-029, I would recommend that we take the staff recommendation of, that would be $2,550 if paid within 90 days.
Say that, what, are you on
Where you at, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong one. I'm sorry. Yeah.
D?
It's $7,191. Let's see, there's a tax surplus on
Yes, sir.
that one.
Yes, sir.
So it would still be due, which would bring, Thomas, is it $6,532.48?
Yes, sir.
That's still due?
Yes, sir.
On that, if paid within 90 days. That's my motion.
We have proper motion.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Newbold on item D. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
Okay, and on 2014-00310, Codes case, Codes Enforcement is recommending total enforcement action of $2,016 if paid within 90 days. That's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion, a proper motion and a second by Commissioner Alexander. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
And Madam Chair, on Codes Case 2014-00393, staff is recommending the hard cost of $2,286 if paid within 90 days. That's my motion.
We have a proper motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Palacier. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, back to Code Enforcement A.
Madam Chair, this board doesn't set a precedence for anything we do, but we have done this in the past. We've got two codes cases on the same property, item A and C here. One being for, and they're different codes,
Different violations, yes, sir.
So one in the tune of $1,573, and then another one, and let me get to that real quick. The other one is $2,550. Usually this board looks at those and goes, okay, we had two running together. They are our lane. We can do what we want with them, Madam Chair. But I would recommend that we look at this. It is in compliance. That's the main thing we want out there. We're trying to help the community by cleaning these up. I would look at taking the higher fine reduction on item C and making that $2,550, pay within 90 days, and reducing item A to 0 as we try to enforce these claims. But that's just my opinion, so I'll just leave that open for discussion right now, Madam Chair.
Did you make a motion?
I will. I'll make a motion that we, the Board of County Commissioners, accept $2,550 on Codes Case 2012-00090 if paid within 90 days, and on Codes Case 2006-00889 that we reduce that fine to 0.
Okay, we have a proper motion. Do we have a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second that with a little tiny bit of discussion
Yes,
with
sir.
it. When I served here before, that was something that was not uncommon to the board, so I think it's a good way to help out the people when we can do it like this. I think it's the thing to do, but I really second that.
So we have a proper motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Was it, it has been remediated, I understand, and was that done in, did they cooperate with you? And
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
So there's a good spirit involved in the process?
It was. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. That gets us through our code enforcement. I might take a point of privilege here, and I'm going to move our appointments to after public comment. So we'll go into new business.
Okay.
Clerk of Court, are you presenting this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Chairwoman and County Commissioners. Quick summary on this. This was a project that to the previous Board of County Commissioners, it's been several months ago now. I think it's probably been 10 or 11 months ago. But the board approved a contract with a design firm to come up with a design for the Tim Smith Customer Service Building. We call it the Tax Deeds Building, but it's the building that has the old BOCC room in it. So we got finalized plans to develop the old BOCC room into a single, where that building will be our single customer service building instead of our customer service being separated into two different buildings. When the bids went and the bids came back in, they were quite a bit over the budget that was allocated to the project of $225. And so we've spent some time talking with county administrative staff and my staff, and we think we have a solution to be able to move forward if the board is willing to set aside the original $225,000 that was going to be used for the project in a reserve line. My staff will move forward with overseeing the project and hiring in the subcontractors to get the work done. And we think we'll be able to achieve that project within that budget with potentially using some of the excess funds from this current fiscal year. So my request is to, if the board would be willing to move that, set aside that $225,000 in a reserve line within the general fund, which then I can come back to the board and request at a later date if needed.
Okay. I'm going to start on this. We'll take a little bit of privilege here. When I got elected, I went down and met with all the constitutional officers and viewed all of their offices. And if you haven't done that already, I would highly recommend our new commissioners to do that. And I learned in that process the challenge that Clerk Reynolds was facing at the time, which is there's a safety issue in that particular building. So
Yep.
you have people coming in around a corner, and potentially you could be running into the person that you're trying to get a divorce from, or trying to get custody of your children from, or there could be some serious
Or domestic violence
injunction.
We have those situations
Yeah.
happen, yes.
And so what this does is this is going to allow a big safety component to happen for our staff down there at your office, and I think it's very much needed. And you gave some money back last year through the end of the year, and again, you're believing that you might this year. So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
makes good sense that you would do that. That's just my 2 cents worth, and if anybody has any further discussion, we can move to a motion.
Madam Chair, I move this forward, resolution number 2024-137, approve the attached budget resolution to transfer $225,000 into existing clerk reserve line item budget and budget numbers there, which will be drawn upon when needed.
All right, we have a proper motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Alexander. Any further discussion or questions? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's very much appreciated. I know that my staff will greatly appreciate that as well.
Well,
Thank you.
the safety of all of our employees is important, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Public Works, Curry Road Lift Station Generator Grant Match.
Yes, ma'am. We got 2 grants going on there. This has helped to cover part of the match of a HMGP grant that we originally applied for that was approved. This is just a secondary supplemental agreement where we might have to put in the match dollars. Does that make sense? It covers our portion of the match. It's just a supplemental grant agreement.
Okay. Do we have any questions? Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner Newbold.
Second.
By Commissioner Harvey. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, we're going to move on into, do we have any speaker cards? This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Public comment cards are conveniently placed in the back of the room and should be submitted prior to the meeting to the deputy clerk. We have 3 as it sits right now, but at the end, if you can still speak if you'd like to. So first we'll have Ms. Sue Holland. Good morning, Ms. Sue. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, sure.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Actually, it's Susan Marie Holland.
Yes, ma'am.
Address 115 Creekside Road. That's it.
Okay.
I'm a repeat offender here. So this is in regards to our sewer. I know you're not going to address the issue today, but our bills went up without any notice that the county commissioners were having a meeting to discuss an increase. I know Putnam County does not have a public utility commission to notify us that there's going to be an increase or an approval by the state. I've done homework, obviously. I think the homeowners or the customers, whatever, that are using the sewer should have been notified before a courtesy letter was mailed that it was going to go up without a dollar amount in it. We are all on a budget. I'll be the first to lay my finances out now that my husband passed away. I can't afford a $400 plus So it's going to cost me $1,000 a year to flush the toilet, is what we're looking at. If there's all these grants that are given from the state, I know I spoke with the town clerk in Palatka this morning. If the grant did go through to them, they're 90% finished with their project and getting ready to start their sewer, $32 million. Why, if we need new equipment, new machinery, whatever it is to make the sewer work, are we not asking for a grant from the state? What are you going to do with $34 increase per month from each homeowner? If you're looking to increase and make better sewer equipment, how are we going to pay for that as homeowners? Where's this money going to go? What are you doing with it? I mean, the median income in Putnam County is $44,000 a year. That's for somebody who's working. A lot of the people in this area that it's affecting are on Social Security because they're retirees. Some of them aren't even there 6 months out of the year, and we're still paying for this. The average state cost for water and wastewater together is $61 a month. We're looking at sewer of only $83.34 a month for sewer. I was one of the neighbors, and I am a notary, you can go back and look at all your documents, that notarized to allow this easement to happen. I was all for it, so we weren't polluting Dunn's Creek, the St. Johns River anymore. I was part of that happening. But to be blindsided, not even knowing that this increase was coming, and again, what is the money coming for? What are you doing with it? I did go speak with Mr. Alexander about it. He knew we were coming. Thank you. I hope I get a response on this.
Thank you. Mr. Gene Geary.
Hi.
Hey, Mr. Geary.
Good to be here, meet all of you. But I'm one of the sewer people on.
Mr. Geary, I'm sorry, if you'll just give your name and address for the record, we have to have it spoken into the record.
Oh, okay. And I'm on a fixed income, Social Security, and I cannot afford to pay an extra $33 a month on sewer. And I'm only here 6 months out of the year, but I cannot get it shut off those 6 months. I pay a sewer bill year round. I only use it 6 months, which isn't right. I can't have a call and say, hey, I want to just put on vacation or disconnected till I get back from vacation. I got to pay the year round, so I'm paying double. And I think I should have a seasonal connection. I do my TV, I do my telephone, but I can't do it on the sewer. And as far as the water, I mean, if they're going to keep raising prices like this, I can't afford water either. I mean, they started out $30 a month for water, and we don't even have water yet, and it went up $10. Now they want $40 for water, plus if you go over your limit, then you pay more, of course. But I think we're getting ripped off is what I think we're getting, because even that $34 raise they come out with, we got the bill 2 days before it was due. Should have been sent out the first of the month, but they sat down there and held all those bills and sent them out 2 days before it was due. And if you didn't get it paid now, you got to pay a late charge. Which, I mean, you got to have more than 2 days to pay your sewer bill. We always got it the first of the month. Not this month. We got it just the other day. And if you don't get down there and get it paid right now, you're going to pay a late charge. That's all I got to say. Thank
All right. And for the record, it's Gene Geary, 110 Fisherman Road, Satsuma. Mr. James Dill, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. Good morning, sir. If you'll state your name and address for the record.
My name's James Deal. I live at 112 Creekside Road. And, well, we were told one thing when this sewer come in, and a 3% at the most, the price of going up later. But it's jumped up $34, which I didn't even know until we paid the bill this last month. There's a lot of people down there, including myself, that are on fixed incomes. You get a little bit of cost of living increase, but it ain't enough to, according to the groceries, the bills, and everything, the gas, they don't do nothing for you. I don't mind paying an increase, but that's just too much. I don't know if the sewer system here in Palatka or in Putnam County is $83 a month, which I don't know. I imagine it ain't, but I can't say. But nobody can afford that unless you got a lot of money. And the bill's going to get paid sooner or later on this sewer system, and you guys are going to collect on it even after it's paid. But you guys you got too much money going in for an increase. And that's about all I can say about it.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
listening.
for coming. Yes, sir. Do we have anybody else who wants to speak during the public comment? Step on up, please. State your name and address for the record.
Morning.
Good morning.
Gary Hobb. I live at 207 Clearwater Road in Satsuma, Florida. I was very disappointed in the way this whole thing was handled. I feel deceived. The information that I received verbally and in writing led me to believe that the prices of these things, the sewer and everything, was going to be $50 a month with a 3.5% increase. Well, I don't understand why there was no bills, why there was no information given to us about this thing. What upsets me is you come in with giving me this information, you come in to destroy my septic tank, knock my septic tank out, and then 2 months later, I get a 63% increase in my sewer bill. Water bill has already went up to $40, and we don't even have water at our place yet. It's not hooked up. Now, I was all for the sewer system. I believe we need to stop polluting the river and the creek and everything there. I'm all for the sewer system, but I think the way the Board of Supervisors handled this was strictly pretty much unethical. That's all I have to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I think I saw another hand go up. Somebody else want to speak publicly? Please give your name and address for the record.
John Bowman. I'm at 218 Clearwater Road in Satsuma. I did sign up to be listened to. I don't know why you didn't have my name there.
Yeah.
I'm on a fixed income. I cannot afford this increase. What's basically going to happen is I'll probably end up having it shut off on me and going to force me to buy a composting toilet from Amazon because you crushed my sewer tank, so I can no longer hook back up to that. And as far as the city water goes, I'm going to go down and take my name off the list. They've ran the hoses down the street and everything, but Lord knows what they're going to do with the water bill, too. I have to live on $1,400 a month, and I just cannot afford it. Something needs to be done. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other public comment? Ms. Reiner.
David Miner, 116 Sheffey Road. That has nothing to do with this, but for those of you that know that Sid, I mentioned to Matt, Sid passed away, the Riverside Trust has passed away the other day. I don't know if the county commissioners are allowed to present his family with a plaque or something like that, because he served in this county for building trusses for, if anybody's had any work done, anything, you probably had your trusses done from him. He passed away. I'd like his family to know that the county appreciates the service he provided for this county for so many years and had such a wonderful reputation. And I thought a lot of Sid, he was always very helpful. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but I wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Minor.
You're welcome.
All right, before, we're going to close out the public comment. One last chance. Any other public comments? All right. Can we ask for discussion regarding the issues that were brought up today? I'm going to ask for either Administrator Suggs or, unless you want to defer to.
Madam Chair, what we'll do is we'll go back and look at our rate structure, make sure everything is correct. We will do whatever is necessary. If there was any issues or any corrections need to be made, we'll absolutely notify the Board of County Commissioners and do anything we need to do forward. But I'll also defer over to Mr. Grimes and Ms. Young at this point. But just know that we'll do whatever's correct and right.
I mean, I do know that we did this through the budget process. This was during the budget process, and there was notification for our budget. But
In
as
several
far as-
meetings as well.
In several
so.
meetings, but go ahead, Ms. Young.
I think Commissioner Alexander wants to speak first, and then we'll follow up. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Make sure this thing's on. But Ms. Holland, I spent about an hour and a half yesterday visiting with Mr. Suggs, Mrs. Holmes.
I'm young.
Yes.
I can be
And,
Julian, though.
I really wanted to learn about the process and how the commission achieved the number that they got to, and we drilled deep into it so I could understand the costs. Because, like we talked about the other day, prices have increased on everything. And unfortunately, this is something that you have to have. And unlike other items that we as households have to buy, we can make choices to have a lesser quality or a lesser service. But this isn't one of those things. We have to have water and we have to have sewer. They explained to me kind of where we had gotten, or where the process went and how the budget went. But what I would like to compel you guys to do is maybe set up a meeting where we could all sit down and go over the numbers and kind of explain exactly where we're at. And I would encourage, any ideas or participation from you guys, because we as commissioners don't know everything. And that's the beauty of this. If you guys have ideas or opportunities that we might be able to improve, I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you. Julianne has also agreed to sit down and go through the budget and show you exactly how the numbers are achieved. A big part of it, too, that JR and JT explained to me, we've had a number of the tanks or the plants in our community that we are obligated by law to assume the operation of if the current operators abandon those sites. And if they're going to abandon them, they've probably been neglecting them for the years and the time leading up to that, and bringing that money in and not doing the maintenance. So when we take those plants over, we incur those costs as well. And even some of us that do not have city and water, those costs are carried on over to us as well. So even those of us that don't have city and water, through funds manipulation, for lack of a better term, we receive some of the costs too. So I would be encouraging you guys to come in and sit down with us, and they can go through it. We could present it on the screens here, but that would take a lot of everybody's time. But if you guys have the time, we can sit down and go over anything you'd like to, and maybe visit coming up with a different solution or some opportunities that exist.
Can I make a recommendation? Mr. Grimes, did we have an issue with the billings month?
So, Commissioners, if you would allow, and Commissioner Alexander told us that the first we heard about it was yesterday morning when we met with Commissioner Alexander. So, truly, staff wants to make sure we diligently research the concerns of the citizens. If we could get a copy of the public comment cards of those that are here today,
Sure.
Let us look into the situation and their concerns, and then we can schedule some one-on-one conversations with them and follow up with all of you guys.
Okay. All right. Are there any other comments regarding the public comments?
Madam Chair, The gentleman or lady said something about how late they got their notice in the mail. Did they hold it back and send it out? My experience with the Postal Service in the last 6 months has not been good, so I don't think our people held back anything on a bill, but I would like to know a little bit more or see that I like notice on anything I get in the mail if there's going to be an increase or change of my monthly accounting. I'd like some notice. I'd like to see some that looked into. If we're doing something like that, if not, we should be doing something like that.
And Chairman, can I clarify one more thing? So the fee schedule, just for all the commissioners, these rates are set during our fee schedule discussion, which is budget development. So we began talking about this in July. The fee schedule was an item that we had conversations on no less than at 4 different public meetings. The minute the board collectively gave staff the final direction on which way they wanted to go, notices were sent out with their monthly statements advising everyone of the new impacts of the fee schedule, the new fee schedule, right, which would have been cycles prior to the one where the bill would have come into effect. But there were no less than 4 meetings and or workshops where commissioners deliberated multiple parts of that fee schedule, because the fee schedule sets all of your countywide fees, from parks and recreation, registration fees, to what it costs to be a member of the pool, to wastewater and water, right? All of those things are part of that fee schedule that we do have multiple conversations through budget development. So we do have meetings available, and we can walk you guys through that fee schedule as well.
And notification was sent out that there would be a fee increase.
Yes, the utilities, right. So we don't send them out for everything on that fee schedule, like Parks and Recs didn't send something out that said.
Right, but the customers of the utilities would have
Yes, sir.
received notification.
Yes, sir.
And if I remember correctly, this area was in the red. As far as, so each utility area looks differently, because like in Bostwick with their water, their water's $81.50, not $4. And so there are, depending on the situation, it depends on, how we set that fee.
So we account for each of our utility systems independently of each other, but all of them are running enterprise fund accounting, which essentially means that they should be paying for themselves, right? Because
Right.
not the entire tax base is getting the benefit of that utility. So if you live in Barden, there's not a single utility that you can tap into, which means you shouldn't be paying the cost of the utility system that may be sitting in Melrose or in East Palatka or in Bostwick. So then we bring you guys during that fee schedule discussion kind of the details as to how far each of them are running. None of our utility systems are running in the black yet. And that was a lot of the conversations that we had last year, which is we have to start making the progress to get those enterprise systems into the black, because otherwise we're having to offset their expenses through another funding source.
Right. They don't have to be profitable, they just have to be self-sustaining.
Correct.
Right. So the grants that we had received was for the infrastructure that was put into, that's not being.
And there's no payback for that.
consideration for that to the customer.
That's
It is
correct.
specifically for the operations and usage of those systems.
That's right. So the maintenance, every day, that system has to be maintained, water and wastewater, right? And we are required to do that 7 days a week, 24/7, 365 days a year. And so that requires operational supplies, materials, and people.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing these issues to the board. It sounds like they're going to reach out back to you and have one-on-one conversations. And then if we want to do something further, you can reach out to your Commissioner Alexander, and we'll do that. So with that, we will move into appointments. Give me just a second to get myself together here. So the way the appointments work, we're back on item 11 on our agenda. District appointments do not require a vote. However, at-large appointments do. I will start with Commissioner District 1.
For the Better Place Plan Oversight Committee, I would like to reappoint Mary Ann Braddock and Patricia Lavelle, whose terms are expiring at the end of the year.
So you're reappointing your district appointments for Better Place Plan Oversight.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any other appointments?
I have one. On the Zoning Board of Adjustment, Ron West, he has agreed to continue, and I would like to extend his appointment.
All right.
And that's an at-large.
That's an at-large. I think what I'll do is I'll go through and list all of the at-larges. I mean, I'll go through each commissioners, and if we have multiple at-large appointments, we'll address them at the same time. District 3.
I wasn't able to reach Jerry Hafner,
Okay.
but I will reach out again to him and we'll reassess that on our next meeting.
And the Contractors Review Board is, those appointments are all at-large as well.
So we'll have to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Those.
You
Okay.
can. Do you have a
Can we go ahead and do
recommendation?
that now?
You can.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to appoint C.D. Smith to the Contractors Board for the roofing position, roofing contractor.
All right. Do we have any other commissioners that will be making a recommendation for that seat? All right. I just changed my mind. That's what happens in this seat. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Harvey. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes. District 4.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to reappoint Rebecca Sharp to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. And on Better Place, I would like to reappoint Larry Michelson and Jerlene Galloway. And those are my 2 appointments today.
Those are your 2 appointments. All right. District 5.
Madam Chair, I'm still working on that. so
That is
bear
not a
with it.
problem. It's a
Hard to
lot.
get a hold of everybody.
Not a problem. Okay.
Madam
Or-
Chairman?
Yes. Do you have, I'm sorry, were you not through?
It's okay.
Apologies.
I actually, it's my fault. I forgot about one. So I would like to remove Marshall Fulgham from the Fair Board.
And he serves as a at-large,
Thought he was my district, actually.
or is he a district?
Yes, I think he is.
I need somebody to look that up, please.
Jim?
Do you have a replacement at this time?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, give us just a second, please. District 3. All right, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to remove Marshall and appoint Martin Birdall.
All right,
We'll
and
provide his address.
he lives in your district?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so just so you all know, that the way this will work is Laura will provide forms, and coordinate with you on how to get the information for each of your appointees.
Thank you.
And then that information will get updated. All right, so now I'm back at mine.
Chair.
Yes.
Ms. Wilkinson has a
Can you spell the last name or say it again?
Birdall, I believe it's spelled Byrdall, and he lives in Port Comfort.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
May I
ma'am.
say something?
Yes.
Madam Chair, there is a form online where our citizens can go online and pull down the citizens' participation form, fill it out with the board that, where they'd like to serve at. So just FYI.
Okay, let's see. I have for Contractors Review Board, I'd like to remove Tom Williams as the consumer representative and replace with David Minor.
I concur. Second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Minor will replace Tom Williams on the Contractors Review Board. I'd also like to renew Susan Roberts for the Planning Commission. And that's an at-large appointment.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. I think that's all we have for appointments at this time. Say that again? Oh, yes, we need to do Mr. West. Thank you. Mr.
Ron West.
Ron West, okay. For Zoning Board of Adjustment, I'm sorry, I had changed my mind. That's what happens when you're District 1, you know. Things can happen. At-large, Ron West, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Second. All in favor of Ron West for the Zoning Board of Adjustment?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
So now, I have question. I have my light on.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, as far as the at-large position for the Planning Commission,
Yes.
Joseph Froelich will be resigning. Do we need to wait until that point to appoint someone else, or can we go?
No, it's in the board book, so he's already apparently told staff that he's resigning.
Okay.
Do you have an appointment?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I would like to nominate Jason Sheffield for that position.
Okay, we have a motion for Jason Sheffield at large for the Planning Commission.
Madam Chair, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Commissioner Alexander, this planning commission has to give up their financials. And a lot of people don't like to do that. That's why that form is so important for them to fill that out.
Yeah, I talked about that with Mr. Suggs yesterday, and I have not gotten in touch with him since speaking with him yesterday. Prior to that, learning that information, he was committed to taking the position. So I can table it until that point if you would prefer.
That might be.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. All right.
Some people aren't aware of that when we do that, and then they get,
Oh, yeah.
And it's a big commitment to give up your financials for a volunteer position.
Absolutely, yeah. And I had some questions about that too, but.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, sir.
All right, so we'll put that on hold.
Okay.
All right, are there any other appointments for committees? Citizen advisory committees? All right, I do want to say the special election has been announced yesterday from the Supervisor of Elections office. Myself and Administrator Suggs currently serve on the canvassing board. However, I believe it was for like a one-year term. In this since this is such a short notice and we've already received training and there's some time constraints, it would make sense if the two of us could continue to serve.
Madam Chair, I'd like to recommend that we keep you, Commissioner Wilkinson, and Mr. Suggs on the canvassing board.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right.
I love you both.
Come up next election, that'll be different. That's all I'm saying. All right, there's some other commissioner committees. We have when you look at go to the Board of County Commission websites, there's a committee book. If you look on that, that'll show all the committees that we just discussed. It'll also show who is currently serving. And so these things will get updated as Laura puts them in the system. I currently serve on the Waterways and Trails Committee as the chairperson, and I would like to remove myself from that. And if there's another person who, I guess I can't make a motion. Can I make a motion?
You can make.
I would like for Commissioner Alexander to chair that meeting going forward. What do you think of that, Commissioner Alexander? We're going to do a little informal stuff right now. I like that. I would gratefully accept that. Turn your mic on. Okay, all right.
So we make a motion that Commissioner Alexander be appointed to the Waterways and Trails to replace Commissioner Wilkinson.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all right. That was good, good. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. We previously had Commissioner Adamczak served on the Northeast Florida Regional Council, and Commissioner Harvey serves on the Northeast Florida Regional Council. Do we have a recommendation?
Madam Chair, you had made it very clear that you would like to be on that a few months ago. Commissioner Adamczak was not willing at that time to give up his seat, so I recommend that we put you on the Northeast Florida Regional Council.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Second by Commissioner Newbold. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes. The Affordable Housing Committee was previously served by Commissioner Pickens. I have an interest in that because of my real estate background, and I did give up something to take on something, so I'm trying to not put myself too thin, but that is something that I would like to serve on.
I'll make the motion to install you into that position.
All right.
Second.
Second. We have a proper motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair.
Aye. All right, and Parks and Rec, the same way. It was also something that Commissioner Pickens served on.
Well, we're handing out all these chair positions. I haven't seen these two get anything yet.
Yeah, I'm still working on that. We have a couple more.
I'd be happy to work on that.
That would be good.
All right.
So I recommend Commissioner Newell to be on the Parks and Rec.
I second that.
There we go. We have a proper motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Putnam Behavioral Health Forum is not a commissioner-appointed seat. It is a, it was started by a former commissioner. It's very helpful as far as knowing what's going on in the community. Basically, they meet once a month, and the information that they share is what are all the resources that's going on in the community as far as opioids and a whole mental health and a whole number of issues. And it's a really good, again, it's not an appointed, you don't have to go to that meeting, but we can't have multiple people go, only one commissioner can attend. So Commissioner Alexander, you have your light on.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Wilkinson was generous enough to take me to one of these meetings prior to being selected for the commission, and it was really enlightening. I've lived here my entire life, 50 plus years, showing my age, but there are tremendous opportunities that are available, and I am able to share that with my constituents, and I think it's a great idea to have at least one of us present at each one of those meetings. And I would propose that we create a rotating schedule or something that.
I don't know. I'm sort of liking the idea of you going every month and then coming back to the board. But
I think that might be selfish because you may be thinking I need some help from those people. But
no, that's not the case at all.
But I did enjoy it, and I will go. I will go if that's what the commission asks. But I think it's really enlightening to go, and I think everybody should at least go once, so you can see the opportunities that are presented and the sacrifices that our community makes to help those in need.
Mm-hmm.
It was heartwarming.
Okay. All right.
And you still have Commissioner Palatka has kind of been left out of the.
No, I've got something.
Okay.
I've got something. I have something. We also have the Palatka CRA board. So we didn't need a motion on that. That's why I didn't take that. But it sounds like you're our representative for the Putnam Behavioral. And then if you can't go, what I would suggest is maybe you just say to one of the other commissioners, hey, I can't go. Would somebody else like to go? All right, there we go. Got a partnership forming. Good stuff. Palatka CRA is the Palatka Community Redevelopment Authority that sits with the city of Palatka. And we have one commissioner that hasn't taken a seat yet on a board, so somebody would like to make a motion.
Well, not only that, Madam Chair, but it is part of, your district is part of the city of Palatka.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what.
There's others that have more.
It requires a little.
I'll be happy to help you out anytime you need it.
All right, so is that a motion?
It is.
All right.
Commissioner Palatka.
We have Commissioner Palatka as appointed for the Palatka CRA. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 I guess I'll vote on that.
Yes, you vote on that. All right,
wanna
we
vote
go
no?
into our comments.
Go ahead.
Any other appointments that we need to discuss? Chairman Harvey, since you're no longer chair, was there anything that you wanted to transition off of?
I think we're good.
You're good for now. And there will be more that come up. These were just the ones that I could think of that needed
I would like
immediate
to.
attention.
I would like to bring the board up to speed, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. I do serve in many state roles, so let me kind of go through them real quick. I do serve on the Northeast Florida Regional Council, and I was the chairman of that 2 years ago, representing Putnam County. I do serve on the board of directors for the Florida Association of Counties. I'm the chairman of the Florida Association of Counties Trust. I serve with the Small County Coalition on the board of directors there. And I am the chairman of the Institute of County Government under the Florida Association of Counties. So education is very important to me. Last Friday I was at UF with one of our ACC classes that were going on. and kind of lecturing basically what I've learned in my past 10 years. And that was very, very good to do that. So those are some of the things that I serve on a more regional approach. I also serve on the FREDA board, which is the Florida Rural Economic Development Association. So there's a state board that I serve on, and then a local RAO board that we serve on. And in February, I believe it's February 7th, is that Julianne? Julianne?
Sure.
I think it's February 7th that we are looking at having our local RAO board, which is 13 counties, the Rural Economic Opportunity Board, coming to Putnam County. We're going to have a meeting here at the Ravine Gardens and a lunch at the River Center. On top of that, we are looking at inviting FREDA board, our state board, to be a part of that also. So that will be an exciting time where we can all showcase Putnam County. And we're going to get more information as time gets closer. Mark is actually out of town right now, but we nailed down the date for Putnam County to be a part of that. And it brings a lot of economic people through our region back to Putnam County. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Before we go into comments, I do want to say that traditionally, this board has not met on the second meeting in December because that is, I believe, on Christmas Eve. Is it Christmas Eve or day of Christmas Eve? It's the day before Christmas Eve?
It's actually
Christmas Eve. So we need to discuss, or do we plan on meeting in the second meeting in December, or do what the board's traditionally done and not
Madam
hold that
Chair,
meeting?
I think we should just forego that meeting and enjoy the holidays with our family and come back together on our normal meetings in January.
All right.
That was a motion, I'll second it.
All right,
The
we have a
motion, yes.
second from Commissioner Newbold. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Go into our comments. Clerk of Courts, Clerk Reynolds.
Thank you, Mrs. Chairwoman. I have no other items of business other than to just quickly mention that I hope that all of you, as well as staff and the public at large, have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right, County Attorney, Mr. Commando.
First, I just wanted to thank Chairman, or former Chairman Harvey, for his year of leadership. You know, watching you come in, you made a comment very early on that you realized you didn't have a whole lot of time and you had a lot of vision and plans for the county, and it's amazing that you accomplished so many of those. And Commissioner or Chair Wilkinson, congratulations on the support of your colleagues. To our new commissioners, you do not have to complete your ethics requirement before December 31st of this year, according to the Constitution. You're allowed to wait a year. However, I would strongly encourage for everyone to take that 4 hours ethics training. It's provided by the Florida Association of Counties periodically throughout the year. If you can't make that, the Florida League of Cities also has an online program that you can sit at home, do it from home. But they provide a lot of good information that is just a good refresher for many people coming into the office. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me at your convenience, and I look forward to serving with you.
And Rich, the Florida Association of Counties has an online version that you sit there for 5 hours, and that's 5 hours you'll never get back in your life again. But you can sit in there in your house and do it on your own. So it's okay.
And it does include the Florida it goes over the sunshine laws as well.
That's right.
It does.
Yes, thank you.
So,
Anything
Madam
else?
Chair.
Thank you. County Administrator Terry Suggs.
Yes, ma'am. Before I get into mine, I'll defer over to Ms. Young. She has a comment she needs to make.
Just real, Commissioner Newbold, congratulations to Parks and Recreation. Your first meeting will be Monday at 4, and you are the chair, sir, so let me know what you need.
Fantastic.
So to that point, everybody who thinks you just show up to 2 meetings a month, it is not true. We are very involved and have lots of different committees that we have to serve on. Go ahead, County Administrator Suggs.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Young wrote me a note that I need to remind everybody that there is a live auction for equipment going on right now, and it ends on December 3rd. So we'll be bringing the results back to the board most likely on the 10th. So let you know where we're at with that. I also want to join the attorney in commenting on Mr. Harvey's leadership this past year. Chairman, we had a lot going on, and you handled it with class and dignity, and I appreciate it. Our Monday meetings were, I think, very helpful. We got a lot accomplished and was able to do a lot of
work behind the scenes, so to speak, on the things that need to get done. So thank you very much for that. For the new commissioners, we've already had a lot of meetings, and I appreciate that. That's how we get a lot of stuff done. Communication is paramount. And Walton, Commissioner Palatka, apologize for that. Give you credit. My phone absolutely rings, and I get messages and text messages and calls, and he's always on point with the questions and the concerns of what's going on, and I appreciate that. That's a great way to communicate. So over the next few weeks, few months, my desire would be to work with each of you and figure out what's the best means of communication for each of you, because everybody does communicate differently. And please, don't borrow the page from Chairman Harvey's book and get up at 4:30 and start calling. But Mr. Harvey, all jokes aside, will absolutely let me know when there is anything that needs to be looked at or discussed. And that goes so far to be able to fix the issues that much quicker. So again, great leadership, but I do want to learn the communication styles of each of you, because that's paramount. It really is. And as you heard earlier, Ms. Young's report, the project report, Mr. Commissioner Palatka asked me about this last week, and I told him that it's not in your agenda packet, but it'll be uploaded to the county website as soon as we're done. And the reason for that is because we're constantly updating as we go till we get here. It was updated this morning, I believe, at 8:15. So, and that's one of the reasons why we don't put it in the agenda packet a week early, because there's a lot more that goes on in those few days, believe it or not. So, but it is uploaded. You can see amount that's being done.
It's also emailed to each of them.
And now I'm being told it's also emailed to each of you. You know, and the next thing I heard yesterday was getting some information on the work order program, so you can see what's going on there. And I think that also is instrumental. We do several hundred, if I'm not mistaken, work orders a month. And I think it's critical for you folks to see just exactly how much work is being done by your staff out there. So I think that's another opportunity. And Commissioner Alexander, as you saw this morning, a little communication yesterday with your folks coming in today. We can't answer all the questions. However, now we know a little bit more about what the issue is, and we can sit down and meet those folks. So appreciate that as well. And just a quick reminder that I will be out. I believe Ms. Young possibly will be out as well next week, and possibly Commissioner Wilkinson and or Chairman and Woman. Thank you. And Commissioner Harvey attending the Florida Association of Counties legislative session. And so hopefully, you know, we'll bring back some good information from that. We always do. And, you know, and personally to staff, our commissioners, county attorney, Honorable Matt Reynolds, thank you for a great year. Many things to be thankful for. We've done great things this year, but I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and look forward to seeing you December 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go into commissioner comments, I just want to say thank you for your vote of confidence and putting me in this seat. I hope that I don't disappoint you, and I do promise I will do my very best. Before we go into comments, I also just want to say that each of you new commissioners will soon realize that you represent 80,000 people within your community, not just the district that you serve. And I know that you've come in with an open mind, and that you love your community, and that you have a good heart, or you wouldn't be sitting here. That your constituents believe that, or they wouldn't have voted for you. So it sounds like you've already started by taking the time to ask questions of staff and relying on them, and not just going on what you hear in the public, but actually finding fact. And I appreciate that. So moving right in, we'll start with Commissioner Palatka for any comments that you have. This is our time. I know this is a little bit different than when you were in office as far as the agenda, and it could change. But this is your time to speak freely about anything you want, make comments, whatever you want to do.
It's kind of how I remember.
Okay.
Anyhow, I usually don't get to go first. 5 is always at the end of the road, but I appreciate that. I want to thank Commissioner Harvey for his year of leadership and moving the county forward in a positive direction. Did a great job. I look forward to working with Commissioner Wilkinson, chairwoman, chair lady, chair of somebody.
This chair's fine. You don't have to.
Chair.
Yeah.
And the good things that you're going to help us move forward with in the county. For those of you that know me or don't know me, I've been a public servant in public service for over 40 years, and that's what I'm going to do as I move forward. When I was here before, I took Public Works to task, and we made some really good changes down there. And now my focus is going to be on building and zoning. I think some things over there have still got some corrections to be made, and I look forward to seeing some good things in that direction. Having taken office last Tuesday, I technically, I guess, started making moves with Public Works about a month ago, and contacting them about some issues that the constituents had contacted me about. Personally, yesterday, worked with Mr. Stout and his staff of 5 or 6 his top aides, I guess that's what I'd call them, on 3 different drainage areas in the county. And I am really excited about progress that we're going to see in that area, because he's really doing a good job, and really I'm proud to have him on our team. We met, we had a 3-way meeting with different property owners on a situation, and we had a meeting of the minds, and everybody came away with a happy face, and I think things are going to go in a real good direction there, and just that's what it takes, is just working together to help your fellow man and your neighbor. In small rural Florida, that's what we do, and that's what I'm going to continue to see. But I'm real excited about that department and the good things that are going to come out over there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pelletier. I still want to say Walton, sorry. I'll get it. Commissioner Alexander, starting on my outside first.
Thank you, Ms. Chair, Ms. Wilkinson.
We'll get used to it.
Yeah, well, one day we'll figure this out. But many of you don't know my background, don't know my history, but I was dispatched by a national company to handle problems, and typically it was our company's problems that they weren't taking care of the issues the way they should have. So I look forward to working with our community and trying to find some satisfaction. I want to thank Commissioner Harvey for welcoming me into the fold shortly after the election and prior to. I think that he's been a great leader for our community. And Mrs. Chair.
See?
There we go.
It's hard.
Well, it's very difficult, coming in this community and being here your entire life. You look out and you know most of the staff here. You understand their personalities, and you have confidence in them because you know who they are and what their capabilities are. So that brings great excitement to me. I know Commissioner Newbold. I know Commissioner Wilkinson. I know Commissioner Harvey, Commissioner Walton. I think that we're going to work well together. I think that we all have a common goal in achieving growth and making this a better community without any personal interest. It's all about self-sacrifice. All of us have other opportunities that we could have explored, but we chose to stay here and serve our community, and I look forward to it. I'm very confident in the folks on my left. I've worked with them for a month now in the background, and just formally the last week. Any questions I've had, they respond almost instantaneously. The guys back there in the back corner, I look forward to great things. They've been super helpful, and I know their capabilities as well. So I see a bright future for Putnam County. About all I've got to say.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Newbold.
Well, I'm going to repeat a lot of what you've heard already, but I would like to thank the residents of Putnam County for kind of entrusting me in this new role. I'd like to thank the past commissioners, Turner, Adamsack, and Pickens, who were gracious and willing to share experience and have just are willing to still help guide. They all have passions for our community. Commissioner Wilkinson and Commissioner Harvey, you guys have been gracious and willing to share little tricks of the trade and experience that you've gained over time, and I'm glad you're willing to do that, not let us new guys
sink or swim? Yeah, it's not like that.
Throw us right in the deep end so dramatically. The county staff, man, this has been a nice transition, smooth. I'll repeat what we've heard already. We've got great folks in place, and I've heard that, but seeing it firsthand is refreshing. We are in good hands. I'd like to give a little extra shout out to Mr. Tilton, our solid waste director. You know, the first little test that came to me passed on by Commissioner Pickens. It was amazing how quickly he passed those on. He had no reservation in doing that. And what I thought was going to be, a little prickly, take a little time, it was a call right before the weekend, and I was trying to prime the citizen up for, hey, you'll probably get this done, in a week or so. Well, man, her problem was solved in a matter of hours, and she could not have been more thrilled, and that was a great start. So thank you guys for making my job easy thus far. I'd like to wish everybody a nice Thanksgiving, and thank you all for making this a nice transition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harvey.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Wilkinson, I appreciate it. Congratulations to you on your chair. You're going to do it's going to be a great year under your leadership, and I look forward to that. One thing I did leave off, I am the director of the Career Source Consortium for Putnam County, but that's anybody that wants to take over some, just give me a holler. I'll be glad to talk to you about it. Don't forget the parade this coming Friday night after Thanksgiving on Thursday. We do have the banners done. We're going to be riding together and having a great time throwing out candy, lots of candy for that.
And you're going to be coordinating that?
I will.
Okay.
I will. I do want to kind of touch base on something that was said today, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but when I came in, Commissioner Palacio, you were here then, we had groundbreaking on the sewer system over in East Palatka. Remember that over there? And that was the bones of it, if you will. And that was a big loan that was carried on by the citizens of Putnam County. And what you've heard today is really water and sewer is only available from the bridge to the east. East Palatka, Dunn's Creek area. Doesn't even cross over the bridge down there. But it was very important to then Governor Scott to get those sewers systems off the river as much as possible. So a lot of grant money came to us. But make no mistake, the citizens of Putnam County have been subsidizing this for a long time. Even out in our district, I don't have water and sewer out in the Interlaken area. So we pay for that through our sales tax some of that money goes to that, to prop that up, and has been propping it up for years. So one thing I think I'm really, really proud of is the former board really took notice of a lot of these rates. The MSBU rates were the same from the day we started. Now they're indexed, so their cost of doing business. If it costs this, then divide it by the lot owners, and that's what it costs to do business. So we're trying to get to a product where somebody else isn't subsidizing. Now, unfortunately, in government, taxes and fees, we don't work that out. I mean, it's not fair for everybody, and some people are going to pay. That's just how it is. But I think we've made great strides in getting to that part where we're trying to make it not a profitable organization, but at least break even or close to as much as possible. And one day we'd like to see that happen. We see it with our landfill. We fought very hard not to sell the landfill. You were part of that decision, and we stood together on that. Or we would be talking differently to Mr. Tilton right now if we didn't own our landfill. And that does make money for the county. And basically what it does is it offsets the cost of doing business, so that our taxpayers see a reduction in fees for that. So this board, I fully expect us to go forward and look at those fees and the rates that we charge. And unfortunately, we just had to carry on another water system in the BOCC area that we didn't even want. And people go, well, why did you take it? Well, basically, in Florida, when the provider gets tired of dealing with it, they hand it off to local government. And we can't hand it off to anybody else. We have to accept it. And we accept it the way it is. And believe me, it's not a Cadillac anymore. They might have bought a Cadillac, but it's not a Cadillac. And now we've got to bring it up to standards to be able to do. So it's a task, and I would ask that everybody keep an open mind as we go into explanation and discussion about rates and things in that nature, because we do want to move this county forward. And the best thing we're doing is providing water and sewer to some of those areas that we know are flooding the St. Johns River, and we see it all the time. And I'm very proud that we finally paved those roads down in Paradise Point area that needed to be done. We talked about it almost 8 years ago, but we were waiting on the water and sewer lines to not be in the middle of the road. And we've done a good job on getting that done. And I want to say hats off to Public Works, who have just completely, Mr. Suggs, you're right, with the engineering department we have moved our projects fast and furious. No more do we have to spend 3 hours every Tuesday talking about transportation. We talk about them right here. We get them done, and we get them moved out. And no more of this a year down the road or 2 years down. We're moving projects, and I appreciate that. So, Madam Chair, that's my remarks. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and see you on Friday night.
Thank you. Well, he's got a lot more experience than the rest of us, so don't stress because he can speak better than we can. Just remember, he's a little bit more seasoned on this. So a couple of things I want to remind. We do have a legislative day the first week in January, and so each commissioner start thinking about if they have any legislative priorities, email them to county administrator, and he can sort of gather them up for all of us. And at our December meeting, I would assume we'll have to discuss what are those priorities would be or how we would want to see those handled. But I've got a little list in my office I've been working on, but please think of any legislative priorities you have, and we'll have that discussion at our next meeting. Also, I did miss the Ride Solution Board. Commissioner Pickens did serve on that. I don't think that's something we have to decide now, but at the next meeting, we probably should make a decision on which commissioner would want to serve on the Ride Solution Board. Also, if you have not been by the Animal Services Building, I know Ms. Young gave us an update today, but if you haven't been by there, please feel free to do so, and schedule an appointment if you want with Mr. Grimes or with Brian, and they can give you an update. We did not receive the spay and neuter grant from the state. However, staff has been diligently working with the University of Florida so that whenever the new building is built, that we can have some spay and neuter surgeries right there on site. Julian, do you want to add to that, or just basically?
Commissioner Wilkinson, you said it very well. What we're hoping to do is partner with UF Vet School and bring some of their students down under the direction of a full licensed veterinarian that can begin doing some services here in our community as part of their teaching or instruction.
Right. So in addition to that, we'll also have the mobile clinic that they're working on with Miss Jenny in Crescent City at the ARC Consortium. So we have that. We've been over capacity. We'll continue to be over capacity. At one time back in, I think it was September, Mr. Helms brought in some recommendations. If you will send that out from the Animal Welfare League, if you will send that out to all the new board members just so they could read it. And sometime in the future, probably in January or so, we'll have to have that future discussion if we're going to make any policy changes or recommendations for the policies for animal services. That's all I have for as far as work. Well, storm debris. Can you give us an update, Mr. Grimes, on storm debris? I know that's a hot subject for everybody, so let's just discuss it.
Most certainly. Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, it's been working. We had a real rough start because of the way that it was regionally affected by storm debris pickup. It wasn't just regionalized to Florida because we had Hurricane Helene that hit the Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, all those different areas. So as we engage our contractor for debris management, he doesn't have just a contract in Putnam County. They have multiple over across the state of Florida. They have multiple over Georgia, North Carolina, the different areas. So equipment was really difficult to get mobilized into Putnam County because we were not one of the most hit directly. Where it's real easy for their contractors, that they have the work for them to go to a beach town or something that was hit really easily, and they could get a load from here to Crill Avenue. And then that's how those folks, that's how they generate their revenue, is by the faster the load. So trying to get resources into Putnam County was a little bit difficult because it truly is like a 841 square mile Easter egg hunt. So it took some time. They went into the heavily affected area that was hit the hardest, which was in the Crescent City area. And they worked up 2 or 3 weeks in there. They were only able to mobilize two trucks to start with. There's a total of 7 or 8 here now.
Okay.
So they're mobilized. They're still getting some debris out of Crescent City. They have moved into Satsuma, Palatka, Georgetown. They've moved up that way. They've got a couple trucks working in the San Mateo area. I know there's one working East Palatka area. So they are starting. There's one that when they moved from the city of Palatka out to off Silver Lake Drive. So there is still some of the larger trees that are still in the right-of-way. Those will get taken care of underneath that contract. But what happens is the debris vendor moves through there. He finds, or they find the large that needs a saw crew, and then they'll send a saw crew in behind the city that needed to be done. So they are working. They have worked the Melrose area already. So they're kind of bringing it in centralized, which was his operational call, because he said, I'd rather work out in my way in, because as sources become available, it's just much quicker to get to the landfill. One of the problems is, as we all know, the roads going to Crescent City, it just is an hour and a half turnaround for a big truck. So he can only get down there so many times, especially this time of year when we're short on daylight. He can only do 2 or 3 runs a day down there. So we do get an update on the board from Thompson, our debris management, when it comes to the landfill to get certified, so we're able to get them back from FEMA. There is a dashboard out there that tells us how many cubic yards. They've hauled thousands of cubic yards of debris already to the landfill. So as that's being done, I think they've probably still got a couple weeks left to go in Putnam County. So they are still out there working in the geographic region. So if there is a one-off that you guys are getting, please let me know. Got Chris or Mr. Tilton one. We can call and get the one-off picked up real quick if they happen to miss one. It's going to happen. We sent them through pretty quick after Hurricane Milton, because we did some Helene pickup before Milton hit, and so there was a big transition in there. So there is going to be the one-off that they missed. And if people just let us know, give us a call, shoot us an email, shoot you guys a text, or however you want it to get to you. And if you'll just let us know, we'll absolutely get it picked up. Because, I mean, there's ones that have been put out since they've been through. They actually have a map of where they have been. I don't have access to that map. I'm sure we can probably get it if we need it. So then there'll be piles that come in after the fact. But they're doing a great job. And, I mean, what we've seen, they've done a great job cleaning up. We've had a little minor snafus here, but they are still working day in, 7 days a week in Putnam County. Because, I mean, I see where they haul in debris on Saturday and Sunday. So, I mean, they are working 7 days a week in the 10 hours a day that we had to work right now in the daylight. So they are still very well moving.
Well, I appreciate that update. I know that's one of the things being discussed in the community. So
Yes, ma'am.
it's important that we get the right information out to our citizens.
Sure.
Because I think
Like I said,
sometimes there's misinformation. So
we
it's very
started with 2
important.
trucks, and I think they're probably up to 7, 8, 9 now that are working throughout the county trying to get this stuff cleaned up as quick as possible. I think their goal was to be done by December 2nd. I don't know if they're going to make it or not, but that was the first goal that they put out, was getting at least the first push through done by the first week of December.
And do we typically do 2 pass-throughs, or is it as needed only?
Kind of as needed. I mean, if there's a specific area, hotspot that we need to go get picked up, we'll go get picked up, but it's a big county to cover. So
Listen, they all ran for office. They understand how big this county is.
I get it. It's just,
That's when you realize how big the county is when you run for office.
That's
So, thank you for that update. I appreciate everybody support today, and I truly believe that we're going to have a great commission. We do have a great commission, and I look forward to serving with each of you. And with that, the meeting's adjourned.